Howdy, all of you delicious people. I'm here today to view Closer from 2004. So I think a lot of people, when they hear words like affair being put into a description in a movie, or hearing that Natalie Portman is a stripper in this film, like, hey, let me go and find this film. I gotta rent it. What's Closer? Oh, okay, alright. And then I would immediately just be like, hold your horses. I have to go on and explain this movie. Before you go on and immediately try to find where this movie is. So, with that said, a lot of the times where there is an affair going on, it seems that a lot of the times they do get pretty descriptive about how they were to have had an affair with someone else. But a lot of the times it's all just kind of spoken. We don't get into the active things. Natalie Portman, yes, is a stripper, but we are to not really we are to get close but no cigar with that, so to speak. But we do have strip club scenes, so I guess if you are to feel left out, then you end up getting a club-like scene that might be well, okay, I guess we don't get everything, but we get something. So, with that said, I ended up just kind of finding out a way to go on and feel like this movie is very creative. I really liked it. Because it just feels unique. And the only thing that I kind of thought was really annoying was the whole back and forth of this movie. I honestly really also didn't like Julia Roberts' character, Anna, who is to just be this person who's to not tell you the whole truth, or it seems like she's to lie to you, and it seems like the whole movie is just trying to catch people in a lie or trying to figure out the truth. So, but on the opposite end, I thoroughly enjoyed Clive Owen's character, his aggressiveness, and just for the fact that he's just really fun in this movie. I liked him. The whole thing between Larry and Dan going on and chatting away on this computer was actually kind of funny, and led to a continuously funny moment, which I was like, man, this is actually, this is pretty fun. To go on and give us something unique in this movie. So, with that said, Closer from 2004 is definitely a positive movie. I would say it's okay because, really, there's just a lot of just couple swapping, it seems. And that does kind of get fairly come on, you guys have to have something else to do. And but with that said, there is some interesting things here, but it's just really waiting for eventually them to happen. So eventually people may be not all that patient. So, with that said, where can you go on and watch this movie? Currently, I only think it's available on places to rent. So if you have the affordability or this thing called dinero, money, greenbacks, whichever, then you can rent this film. But I'm going to give you a list of a number of different apps that you can bootleg your way to say that you can see this film. So, speaking of see, you can go into a Google search and search a number of apps. This one called See Movies app, so one of these. You can go on and hopefully find this through Google search, download this app, find out that Yes Movies is to be the latest update for this app, and then you'll be able to go on and download that, and be able to say you can see whatever you like. Next up, you can also go on to a Google search and search the word Fox HD Movies. Regardless of what I say, this might help or hinder you in any way finding this app, because the title or the logo will be Fox HD Movies, but the title will be something different. It'll say Play 1080p HD Movies. And then you can go into a Google Play Store search and search the word 123 Movies and find an app that is similar to the app that I'm going to mention next. You can go onto a Google search and search the word TV, or search the words TV Crush. You'll go on to find that TV Crush has changed to eventually be HD Movies 123 Movies, and you'll find a logo with an HD Movies with a king crown off the side. Go ahead and download that app. Be able to say you could see whatever you like for absolutely free. Not quite sure if TV Crush tends to have a lot of stuff, but it has enough. So with that said, let's go on into the teeing up of Closer. So what is this actually about? So at the start of this movie, in a very still vague sense because it's teeing it up, we have Dan and Alice who are to get together, and they meet by accident or a accident, and so Dan is to take care of Alice, and then they are to go on and kind of spend the day together, and then Dan is to tell Alice that he is technically with somebody, but he's more interested in her, and so they eventually go on to make it work. We consistently have clips where time is passing in this film, consistently. So, from one clip to the other, maybe 4 months, maybe a year, maybe XYZ, hence why you consistently see Natalie Portman's character with different hair at some points in this film because supposedly time has passed. So, we have Dan who is to meet with Anna while he's taking this photo, and it seems that Dan is to be kissing onto Anna, all while also having Alice realize that Dan is possibly having some affair. So Alice and Dan are to go to Anna's gallery opening, and come to find out Dan will eventually have an affair with Anna for a whole year, and that goes on to conflict with both Dan and Alice's relationship and Anna and Larry's relationship, which the way in which the Anna and Larry get together is really funny, and I thoroughly I thought that was so much a funny way to get those two together in this film. And I'll go into that, of course, more to spoilers. But for the rest of this film, we start to get to where Dan and Anna, they have this kind of will they, won't they kind of thing about them. Even though they are in a relationship, are they going to stick the landing? Are they going to consistently be together? Or is there going to be something that is going to tear them apart? And are they eventually going to be going back to their previous other lovers? So, and not only that, by the end of this movie, we get possibly this big surprise that it could be possible that a character has been lying to another the whole entire time because of how much she is to go on and want to be this kind of free-spirited character. So, with that said, let's go on into that double five, because otherwise about that time, to just go into spoiler time, it's about that time we can spoil this movie. So, in the beginning of this film, I really liked the song of which that they end up putting in the beginning of this song, and then they put it somewhere, mixing into the song, mixing in the movie consistently. And it makes a lot of sense here, with the whole love at first sight kind of thing. So, Dan and Alice are to be walking, kind of on the other sides of this street. And so all of a sudden we end up having Alice, who is to be hit by this car, and Dan goes on and is to grab Alice and bring her to a hospital where her leg is all bloody. So after Dan is to go on and prop Alice's leg up, and they end up bandaging her leg, we have Dan and Alice starting to talk to one another and get to know about one another. And I think Alice is to mention that she is to be like a cafe girl, but I think that eventually throughout this movie she ends up being a stripper. So Dan is to mention that he, of course, is to be a a guy who is to do the newspaper, and he's to write for the obituaries. And so Alice and Dan are to continue to talk to one another and go to this park where Dan is to mention how when he went to this park, he went there with his father and sat at this bench after their mother had died, or after Dan's mother had died. So, because we have Dan who's telling Alice that he needs to go to work, and then when he actually gets there, he can't get himself to go into the building. He then turns around, and Alice asks Dan, it's like, well, hey, do you have a girlfriend? And Dan is to say, yes, I have a girl named Ruth. But Dan is very interested in Alice, and plus with Alice saying that she is to go on and want to be this very much free spirit, it seems that Dan may not go on and be able to get this girl again. And so they have to figure out a way to go on and be with one another because they want to. So QX number of I'm assuming a year later, we have Dan who is taking a photo for his book. I guess Dan had gone on, and this is Jude Law here. Dan had gone on and had written a book. And so it seems that since Dan needed to take a photo for his book, he then had Anna, who is Julia Roberts, go on and take this photo. So Anna is to go on and mention to Dan that he had read his book and like sit up all night like reading this. And Dan is to ask Anna, it's like, well, like how did you feel about the book? And Anna's like, yeah, I didn't really like the title. And Dan is to go on and say, like, well, like, what do you, like, think the book should have been called? And so, by ways of questioning, it feels that the movie actually should, or the book actually should have been called The Aquarium. So, that's what Dan ends up renaming the book to be called The Aquarium. So, all of a sudden Anna is taking Dan's picture, and all of a sudden that is to lead to Dan kissing Anna, and Dan is kind of kissing Anna in a very bizarre way, kind of going on and like kissing her on the lips, but then he's like kissing her all over her forehead. It's very weird. I can understand like kissing somebody on the forehead. That's cute and whatever. But he kind of goes like all around her face, and that's kind of weird. But so all of a sudden we then have Alice, who is to, of course, make her way up to see Anna, and because Dan is to bring her up. So Alice is to go on and talk to Anna, and Alice is to kind of be like leery about this woman, and Alice is to go on and ask Anna like, hey, like, were you with my husband in some kind of way, or something like that, to where all of a sudden it starts to make Alice very teary-eyed. And so Alice is to want Anna to take her picture, and so Anna goes on and does that, and come to find out Anna is to use Alice's picture in her art gallery, which is to be the next thing we see. So we have a doctor named Larry, who is played by Clive Owen, who is on this internet live chat somewhere talking to a woman. And so it seems that this conversation is getting very steamy, to the point of this woman telling Larry to whip it out and for him to be called the Sultan. And we're going on and on about this chat, and how we, of course, have this woman who is to go on and climax, and Larry is to go on and say, like, well, like, did you like it? And this woman is to go on and say no. But then it seems that Larry is to ask this woman, well, would you like to meet? And this woman is to say, like, sure. And so Larry is to mention, or one of them is to mention the aquarium and then this hotel. So, coming to find out that the woman that Larry was talking to was Dan, was Jude Law. So, Larry is supposed to have his lab coat on, because technically Larry was at his doctor's office while at this live chat, whipping it out. And so Larry is to have his white coat on at this aquarium. And so Larry then goes on and is to walk through this aquarium looking for a girl named Anna. And so Larry is to bump into Julie Roberts' character, who is Anna. And so Larry starts going on and on about, like, hey, I bought the white coat. And Anna's like, well, okay, that's interesting. So the further Larry and Anna are talking, Larry is to mention all of the dirty things that Anna was to go on and say. And Anna's like, well, do I know you somehow? Like, have I taken a photo of you? I just don't remember. And Larry's like, well, like, you and me, like, didn't we talk on the internet the night before? And Anna's like, no. And so Larry's like, well, where were you between this time and this time? And Anna's like, well, I'm not telling you. So Larry is to just be like, oh my god, like, I am so mortified because, like, someone's playing a trick on me. And Anna's like, yeah, I guess someone did. So Anna and then Larry are to continue to just, like, be together. And Anna goes on and is to try to take Larry's picture, and Larry's like, hey, like, don't take my picture because I always look like a criminal when having someone take my photo. So Anna is to mention that today is her birthday, and Larry's like, oh, like, today's really your birthday? And she's like, yeah. So Larry goes off and is to buy this little balloon and gives it to Anna, and she's like, oh, well, thank you. And so all of a sudden we have, bizarrely, Anna and Larry, who hook up together at this aquarium. And so then we go on to this art gallery. So Alice and Dan go off to this art gallery, and Anna and Larry are, of course, together, and it seems that they are going to get married, and everything is to seemingly work out. So we have Anna and Dan who separate, and so Larry is to meet up with Alice, as we, of course, have Alice talking about the photos and how she honestly doesn't like them because they're just a bunch of people all looking sad. And Larry is to go on and talk to Alice about her being like a stripper and this and that, and how he kind of like just touches her is just kind of just strange for a guy who's with someone else. So Dan and Anna are talking, and this of course leads to Dan still interested in possibly wanting to have an affair with Anna, and it seems that Dan is to say that he wants them to go somewhere together, as well as Dan is talking about the man that Anna is with. So eventually we have Alice who gets back with Anna, and Anna, who then gets back together with Larry. And so Larry is talking to Anna about Dan's girlfriend. And so Anna calls Dan the joke that only Anna and Larry supposedly have between them, and Anna called Dan Anna and Larry's Cupid. And so Larry is to go on and ask Anna if you called Dan their Cupid, and Anna's like, no, that joke is only reserved for us. It's like, well, she lied. So some time has passed, like a year has passed. So we can tell consistently by the consistent Natalie Portman hair changes within this film. So, as if she probably has a number of wigs in this movie. So, come to find out within the year of this film, we have Dan coming home to Alice and telling her that this is going to hurt. And so Dan confesses to Alice that he has had an affair with Anna for over a year since that art gallery opening. Dan was to say that he was going to leave for a weekend before that art gallery, and Alice was saying, it's like, well, why can't I just go with you? And Dan goes on and says, it's like, well, like, because like I want some time to myself. So, and while Dan is kind of shaving, like, he then goes on and hugs Alice, and so we can kind of tell that like Dan wants to like kind of separate from Anna, and he's just coming up with ways to do that. So Dan breaks it to Alice, and then we have Larry, who is to come back after traveling to talk to Anna because he had to travel because he was in some conference. So Larry is with Anna, and he was to go on and break it to Anna. Larry was that he was to be with some hooker, and Larry was kind of curious if Anna was going to go on and like break up with him because of that, but Anna said it was okay, because then Anna goes on and tells Larry that she has had an affair with Dan for a whole year. So Larry starts to go on and want every bit of every single specific thing that Anna and Dan did, mentioning how like is he bigger than me? Like have you gone on and have you sucked him off and all this and that, and like have you gone on and slept with him here? Like when did you sleep with him here? Where did you do it? So on and so forth. And so they get very like specific, and so further and further they give so many details, and so that of course leads to Larry separating from Anna, and Anna going on and being with Dan. And so Larry, of course, is very like distraught about this whole breakup because he still loves Anna. And so Anna is now with Dan, and Anna is to have these divorce papers that she, of course, is to sign. And Dan is going on and saying, like, oh, I guess you're a two-time divorcee. And Anna's like, don't. And Dan's like, I'm sorry. Like we're together. That's all that matters. So, all of a sudden, while Dan is with Anna, and then he goes to the bathroom, he has this distinct, like, feeling. So, Dan goes back to Anna and is asking Anna, like, did you sleep with him? And so Dana is to, or Dana, Anna is to, it's almost Dana, right? Dan and Anna. Dana. Anyways, so Anna is to tell us this story. So Anna goes back to Larry because she wants these divorce papers signed. And Larry is to say to Anna that what he'll do to sign these papers is if Anna goes with Larry and sleeps with him, he'll sign the papers without any question and won't bother her. And so Anna is looking at Larry and just seeing how just like obviously like horrible he looks. And so Anna is to just feel pity for Larry. And so she goes on and does what he wants and signs the papers and then leaves him. And so Dan finds out about that. And so after Anna is to tell her about this, so like Dan, of course, is to want every detail, thinking that at some point Anna is going to lie. So now Larry is to be very just grisly and is to make his way to this strip club because, of course, since he is to have no love in his life, and he then goes to this club and is to bump back into Alice, who is this dancer. And so Larry is to go on and get a private room with Alice where she is to be shaking for the money, so to speak. So we have at points where we have like certain creative angles that are to try to not go on and show things of Natalie here. But so let me pause here for a second. All right, so we go on and have Alice, who is to mention that her name is Jane, and so we have Larry that is consistently asking what this girl's real name is because there's a number of girls who are to say that they have a certain name, and they all lie about it. Like Larry used to ask what the girl out there's name is really, because she says her name is Venus, and Alice is to say like, no, that girl's real name is Pluto, and Larry's like, ah, what a joke. So Larry is to consistently give Alice more and more money, hoping he'll get the real name out of her, and she keeps saying Jane. So Larry just wants to go on and have Alice continue to take her clothes off and bend over, and so Alice gives that to Larry. So we have Dan that is to no longer want to be with Anna, and so eventually Dan is to meet up with Larry. And so Larry is to confess to Dan that that Larry and Alice had slept together, and so Dan then is to go on and say like, well, like, I don't think I want to be with Anne anymore. I think I want to go back with Alice, but the only problem is like I can't easily find her. Like, since she's such a free spirit, like I don't think I can go on to find where where she lives or like anything. And so Larry is to tell Dan, it's like, well, hey, like, I'm gonna go on and give you the address of where she works, and so you'll find her there. So Dan then goes on to meet with Alice at her job, and so Dan and Alice then get back together, and so when Dan and Alice get back together, Dan is to ask Alice about when she was asleep with Larry and all the details, and how Alice is to say that she preferred Dan, and like Dan feels very unsure about whether or not he's going to stay with Alice or not. And so Dan is to make his way back to that park, that original park that Alice met with him, as like Dan and Alice are to talk about their anniversary and how they've been together for so long, and every little detail about them originally that we remember in the beginning of this film. So Dan is to go back to this park and is to find out that Alice might have gone on and lied about who she really was. Because when Dan is to look at one of these names that are put into this place by this park, one of the names is Alice, and Dan's like, oh my god, maybe Alice has been lying to me the whole entire time of who she really is. And we end up seeing Alice just kind of walking into the street, and that's how the movie just kind of ends. So with that said, I think I'm going to go on and try to get out of here. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything that I did forget about, because I kind of quickly went over this movie. Yeah, just a lot of kind of back and forth with the relationship, so there might have been some point where I probably forgot about certain details, or I decided to not go further into details, because really this movie is to get fairly descriptive, and so I wanted to try to go on and dance around the fact that I might not want to be too specific about certain things. So with that said, let me know in the comments below how you felt about Closer, if you went on, saw it, or if this might interest you in the future. Let me know. I'm going to get out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.